What's going on, everyone? My name is Lance Eckensweiler and welcome to my loop pedal tips and tricks video. I'm going to be going over a bunch of different techniques that I use that will hopefully help you reach your peak looping potential. Now, I will mention that I am using the RC30, however most of these tips and tricks should translate over to other loop pedals as well. So with that being said, let's get started. The first tip that I wanted to talk about, I'm going to call bridging the gap. When I see people first starting off with a loop pedal, I tend to notice that they try to stop playing at the same time that they lock in their loop. Unfortunately, unless your timing is incredibly spot on, you'll notice that it can sound a little bit rough between the end of the loop and when it starts back up again. So basically what we want to do is try and help bridge the gap between those 2 points to create a smoother, more natural transition. And we're going to do this by simply continuing to play after locking in the loop. And on most loop pedals, you're going to be thrown into an overdub mode. Now, once we're in overdub mode, we're just going to play to the loop for a few seconds and then let the notes ring out and fade away. It's a small change, but it can make a big difference. I'll do a quick comparison so that you guys can hear for yourself. Now this next one may seem a bit obvious, but it's something I didn't really do when I first started, and that's something I'm going to call the count-in. Now, when creating the loop, especially if it's a longer loop, it's crucial to have the time signature as well as the tempo in your head before you start. This is to make sure that you don't start off too fast or too slow, which can result in your timing drifting as you attempt to compensate for that. So to fix this, all that we're going to do is just a quick 1 or 2 bar count-in prior to starting. Now, once you do start, don't stop counting, as that will help to keep your timing solid throughout. As I just mentioned, it's crucial to have the tempo in your head, especially with longer loops, and that's because the longer your loop is, the easier it is for your timing to drift. Which brings me to my third point, which is shorter is better. Not only will this help to keep your timing solid throughout, it's also more exciting for an audience as you're able to build up your loops much quicker. Now this will obviously depend on the song, but if there is a way to shorten a loop, I would suggest it, as it actually can help quite a bit. Alright, so this next one's another very simple tip, and that is lower your input volume. If you crank the volume up on your instrument after your first loop, you probably won't have a whole lot of headroom in your audio signal. And as you continue to loop, you may find that the audio is starting to sound muddy or actually starting to distort. And that's because we're stacking these loops onto one mono audio channel. And as we stack them, the audio signal becomes louder and louder until our pedal is forced to compress that audio or it actually starts to clip. So reducing the volume on our instrument will help give us the headroom that we need so that we don't ruin the audio's fidelity. Now this will result in the start of our loop sounding a little bit quieter, but the end result will be a much cleaner signal. One of the hard things about looping is that you don't have volume control over each individual loop. It can be hard sometimes to get a lead part or a percussion part up in the mix. Which brings me to my fifth tip, which is get a boost pedal. A boost pedal is going to help you mix on the fly by giving you 2 different volume settings that you can use. I personally use an EQ pedal as my boost pedal, as I'm able to increase the output volume, and being able to adjust the EQ has its own benefits, but any boost pedal will do the trick. These next 2 will more than likely only apply to the RC30. When I first got my RC30, I just busted it out of the box, plugged it in, and started playing. I didn't read the manual, but let's be honest, who actually reads manuals nowadays? If I had though, I would have known about this much earlier, and that is stop all and start all. Technically, there is no stop all on the RC30, but if both tracks are playing and you hit the stop button twice quickly, it will stop the first track and then very quickly stop the second. However, there is a start all. It's a little bit convoluted, but basically if both tracks are stopped and you're on the second track, and you go back to the first track, it will highlight both tracks. And then all that you need to do is just simply hit the play button and it will play both tracks simultaneously. This brings me to my final tip, which is get a foot switch. You can either use the FS6 or the FS5U. Both are fairly inexpensive foot switches made by Boss that are compatible with the RC30. This makes switching between tracks incredibly simple. You no longer have to hold down the stop pedal for 2 seconds in order to get to the next track. Now simply press the foot switch once and it will instantly change tracks. This can be incredibly helpful, and you won't accidentally stop a track by not pressing down the stop pedal long enough. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found at least one of these useful. If you have any of your own helpful techniques, please share them in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next time.